Guys. Would you guys cut it out? There's a vicious dog fight going on. Hello, Liz. Hello, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. Hello to the great and powerful Zuck. It's good to see you all once again. No, they're fine. Everyone likes the sound of the dogs. How's everyone's long weekend been? Mine's been rainy as shit, which is all right. Rain and my back hurts. I don't know if they're related. I'm getting old, so I think it's like a trick knee situation. But we'll see. We'll figure out what it is when we figure out what it is. Give it a second or two here, and we'll crack on into things. Got the hat on inside because I need a haircut. Things are looking up. Hi, Beans. Do you want to say hello? Oh. Hello. Congrats on the engagement. I am engaged. Sorry, fellas. Newly engaged, always enraged, as they say. Alright. Let's rip into it. Fuck it. The dogs are here. That's good enough for me. We'll see how long she stays here without drinking my beer. Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. This is a very special long weekend edition of Peakton High School. My name is Justin. If this is your first time here, pardon me, first of all. Second of all, thank you for joining us. This is a live show from Bucketlist Entertainment. How it works is we listen to albums from the MySpace period. If you're watching live, you can give me any comments or questions throughout. And as a unit, as a solidified team, figure out if any of these albums have any business being listened to in 2021. So this week, if you're not aware, we are checking out the first full-length, second or third release by the All-American Rejects, their self-titled 2002 album. If you're not familiar with the band, they're kind of an emo-y rock band that formed in '99 in Oklahoma, of all places. I only say that because I don't know. I'm in Saskatchewan, of all places, so I feel a kinship. Self-titled is their first of 4 total full lengths as of right now. The most recent one came out in 2012, so I don't know what they've been doing, but they've been kind of lazy for, what's that, 9 years? Break out the calculator and double check the math. 9 years. 9 years of laziness. I do remember being pretty into this album and into their 2005 album, Move Along. Following that, I kind of lost interest. I think if Give You Hell is on the album after Move Along, I know that song. If that's on Move Along, I don't think I know anything from the follow-up. Yeah, I think the band came through Saskatoon in 2008 with Blink-182, but I didn't go to that, and I've never seen the All-American Rejects live. And at this point, I probably won't. And that's life. Just happens. Would you say you moved along? There's already some move along puns coming in, Jason. Don't you worry. There's enough puns to fill us for however long this goes. Yeah, fuck it. Let's grip it and rip it. So this song, or this album, I should say, starts off with Your Paper Heart, which is a pretty good indicator of what you can expect from the rest of this album. It's got a really catchy chorus. There's a lot of almost falsetto singing that, I mean, kind of fits and is kind of well done, but is kind of just there for the sake of it. And most importantly, it's got a lot of la 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 la's, which were a staple of the time. Your Star, the song that comes right after this, follows a pretty similar path. It has a bit more of a guitar-heavy chorus. It's a decent song. It's one of the better ones. I wouldn't put it top 3. I'd probably put it around 4. It's good, but it's not particularly memorable. I would say My Paper Heart, you can maybe skip past Your Star if you really want, and then creep right into what we're all here for, which is Swing Swing. So we're at the cream of the crop here. Swing Swing was fucking everywhere in the early 2000s. And it even made it onto the greatest compilation of all time, which was Much Music's Big Shiny Tunes. I believe it was on 6, but I can't remember. If I were hearing this song, or this whole album for that matter, for the first time, I don't know if I would get past Tyson Ritter's singing voice, because again, it's got that pretty constant high, like squawking sound that, I mean, it's so unnecessary, but I still really love it. And it's objectively a poor singing choice, but it is the right choice for me. And that's all I need from them. Moving right along. I'm going to blast through these next 4 because I don't think they're particularly bad, but they're not particularly great. It's got some more mouth sounds. That's always good. Time Stands Still, One More Sad Song, Why Worry, and Don't Leave Me are all songs I know I've heard before, like multiple times, but I don't think I could pick any of them out of a lineup, you know? Each of them sounds kind of like it belongs in the end credits of a different teen dramedy, all of which came out within a year of one another. Yeah, none of them are bad. They're just kind of unmemorable, especially compared to some of those better songs on the album. Yeah. Let's move along, as they say. Whatever. This One of my favorite songs. I really like Too Far Gone. I dig this Something Fierce. The chorus is catchy as all frig. The vocals are a little bit more toned down, meaning there's not really any falsettoing, which is a sign of great restraint on their part. It's probably not as memorable as My Paper Heart or Swing Swing, but as far as songwriting goes, I think it's up there as one of the better ones. And I think it deserves some praise. It gets forgotten about because it's a little later in the album, but I don't know. It's one that's worth going back to. I wish I could jump away to the sunset, back to the day that we first met. Only believe the things I wrote. I put it in a note. So Drive Away is probably the most pop punk they got. It's a nice change in context to the rest of the album. It's not quite as dramatic, and it's not quite as... It's still got pop sensibility, but it's not a pop song in the same vein as some of the others. But compared to bands like New Found Glory or Blink-182 that were out doing this kind of thing at the same time, it's a bit of a dud. Happy Endings, the song after that one, follows kind of a similar path. It's absolutely adequate. The only memorable thing is it has a bunch of Christmas bells throughout. It's got a catchy chorus, but they all do, so it's not got a lot going for it. Let's wrap this up. The last song on the album is called The Last Song, and that's corny, but so is this band. This song starts out with a bunch of radio static that's trying to emulate someone cruising the dial, and that's really, really corny as well. Before the radio dial settles, and they've got this big organy intro, which is probably could have been axed, but then it jumps right into a fairly standard pop rock song, so maybe the organ was there for something. It's not, again, I keep saying this, but it's not a bad song. It's just a really unmemorable way to end what's otherwise a decent album. Some really big standout songs. This is probably not the note to end on. But that's the note they ended on. What are you going to do? I don't know. I would say this, like a third of this album has a home in 2021. Some of the songwriting, like especially on the back half of the album, is really generic and fairly forgettable. It sounds kind of odd saying, but I think his falsetto, warbling, squawking, whatever you want to call it, is a bit of a saving grace because it did make those songs stand out. I don't know if I'd like Swing Swing as much if there weren't the... But it's there, and that's what I need. I would say give the first 3 tracks and Too Far Gone a re-listen, and the rest of it, you can take it or leave it. It's not going to piss you off to have listened to it, but I don't think it's going to hype you out quite too much either. There were some other really good albums in 2002 that probably deserve a re-listen. The Used put out their self-titled album, which I haven't listened to in a while, but I have a feeling it's held up pretty decent. An Evil Heat by Oxbow dropped. Newfound Glory put out Sticks and Stones. And Glassjaw put out Worship and Tribute. That was just a few. It's hard to narrow these down because there are a fuck ton of good albums just in the real world, which is a controversial statement, I know, but I'm here to make those. As far as some contemporary tunes, there's an EP called Self-Care by a band called Nursing that I quite like. Bonecutter put out their self-titled debut, and These Fast Times put out a new single called Empty Cup. Those are all really good albums, or EPs, or songs that have come out in the last... I don't know when Nursing came out. In the last couple months. Anyways, is anyone listening to anything sick? I'm always in the market for new sick tunes. New Tradewind is sad sick. I haven't heard the band Tradewind. The dogs are not fond of it. I'll have to look into that. Everyone look into Tradewind. Those are snarls of sadness and agreement. They are pretty, like, punk rock. A couple punk dudes. One of them pisses everywhere out of angst, so he has to wear dog pants sometimes. Yeah, I think we'll wrap her on up. Thank you all for joining me. We do Peaked in High School every other Monday, so our next episode is going to be 2 weeks from today, which is June 7th. If you're unaware, this week's album was chosen through a poll on our Facebook and Instagram pages. And we're going to keep rolling with that whole democracy idea. I'm starting to like it. So keep an eye out on the Bucketlist socials 1 week from today, so May 31st, where you can vote on the next album we're going to cover. It's going to be between last week's upset, Silverstein Discovering the Waterfront, and Attack, Someday Came Suddenly. So mull it over for a week, collect your thoughts, don't make any rash decisions. This is important stuff. Yeah, follow Bucketlist at Bucketlist ENT on Instagram and Twitter, Bucketlist Entertainment on Facebook, and Bucketlist TV on YouTube. We've got a recent interview Liz did with the Anti-Queens, and tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jason is going to be chatting with the band Trove, which I may or may not have pronounced right. If you'd like, you can keep up with me at Justin Does Words on Instagram and Twitter, where I've got links to past episodes of the show. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to Jason on the ones and twos behind the scenes here. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Thanks.